There's something for everybody. There's something for everyone together.
Hey everybody, we are on our way, my way to the studio. Day 4. It's rainy here today in Vancouver. Yeah, as you could tell. But I'm gonna do a night session, and hopefully we're gonna be there soon. So just saying hi. A little rainy, typical Vancouver weather.
There's something for everybody. There's something for everyone.
Hi Jeff.
Hi, Seri.
Hey everybody. Finally we have Jeff on one-on-one. Totally up close and personal.
Hooray.
And you see, one of the reasons why there are so many producers out there and so many good songwriters and everything, but I really wanted to have pick a producer and work with a producer who really knows a certain genre and not just picking a hip hop or an R&B producer to do like a singer-songwriter stuff. And I really love Jeff's stuff. If you guys don't know who Jeff Dawson is, he is quoted from Wikipedia. Yes, he is on Wikipedia. Did you know that?
I do.
Okay, so Jeff is a producer, songwriter, engineer, mixer. Am I missing anything else? Okay.
Just curious to yourself.
And he's obviously one of the songs that he's best known for is "Bad Day" with Daniel Powter. If you guys know the song is called "Bad Day." It's been number 1 for 5 weeks on Billboard Hot 100 of 2006, and has become an incredible hit worldwide, with almost 2.2 million downloads and nearly 3 million albums sold. So I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
That is a huge accomplishment. For all of us who knows, the music industry, it's definitely not easy to do anything. The industry is mad tough, and that's just a huge accomplishment. So do you still collect royalty checks from that song? Could you please tell me the experience? How did you feel when that happened?
It was a surreal experience. It was it was great, but it was just it's kind of like it makes you want to do it again. I don't know.
Yes.
It was a while ago, but it just it makes you proud, and it makes you proud for the artists that you worked with, and but it's a weird feeling, and like something that starts out in like just a room like this, and then suddenly it's everybody's quite literally everybody's, and so it's sort of weird that way.
So what was the process? Can you tell us, how did it all happen?
That song or his story?
His
story is a long one.
Right. Well,
we just started writing. I used to have a studio in my bedroom, or a spare bed. I used to have a 2-bedroom apartment in the West End of Vancouver here, and I had a studio in one of the rooms. And when I originally did a remix for him for his very, very first record when he was like an independent artist, and then I didn't do that record. And then an old manager of his asked me if I wanted to do like a radio remix of it, of the single, because I wasn't getting anything at radio, and I said sure. So I did that. Then I needed some stuff played on it, so he came in and played some things. So that's when him and I first had met, and then from then on we just really vibed together and just started working on some songs, and then those songs slowly grew into that album.
and how did it was said on, I think it was again Wikipedia, that I forget his name, someone from Warner really loved it, and they said that it was something that obviously he knew from the very first listen that was going to be something big and huge. And
that would have been probably Tom Wally, and
right.
And we sort of, I think Dan, we knew, we had a feeling that it was going to do well, given the chance, but at the same time you just never know either, right?
Yeah.
Like it's it's just timing and everything, and it just happened to be something like lightning in a bottle, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Jeff has done many songs, and obviously you've done film stuff as well.
I've had songs placed in film and TV. Yeah.
Right. And there was another hit you had.
I've had a couple.
Yeah.
Well, a band called State of Shock.
Right.
Their song called Money Honey.
Yeah, that was quoted, I think, on.
Yeah. The Kelly Rowland song I did really well. I don't know if it didn't go number 1, but it certainly went top 10.
Yeah.
Um,
So you worked with Kelly?
Yeah.
That's cool. How was that?
It's great. Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah,
it was great.
It was one of those whirlwind things where it's a lot of the track was done up here, and it's she comes in to sing, and that was sort of it. And it was delivered to the label, and they said we love it, and
Right.
that's it's on the album. So.
I think my other question was, you mentioned that you got into the music industry when you were pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
You started off with a band. So what was the story? How did you progress?
I remember playing in bars and then going to high school the next day. And everyone thought that was really cool.
And what got you into music?
I just always loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So, there wasn't, it just sort of seemed like the natural thing to do. And a lot of my late teens and early 20s, I was spent in being in bands and not really thinking outside of that's what, wanting to be a rock star, or be in a band that, did well and whatnot. And it wasn't until about my mid-20s that I really, realized that when I was in the studio with my band, I was the one that was caring about the production and the sounds and everything like that. And it was just a natural... It just came natural to me every time I was in the studio that I would be, all the other guys would go see strippers, or they'd go to the bar after their parts were done, or go home or whatever, and I was always there from the beginning to the end.
Producing.
Yeah, and I didn't even really know that that's what I was doing at the time,
Right.
but that's what I was doing. So,
Right.
And so just and it just what happened is it slowly turned into I was having more fun. I was enjoying that more, sort of more of in a soul sort of pleasing way,
Right.
So that was sort of my decision. It's like I'm enjoying this more. I get more fulfillment out of this, and I also felt that I was way better at doing that than being in a band.
I see. So from there you progressed on to a producer, naturally.
Yeah, engineer. And I took a year of school just for the sort of the technical side of it, the engineering side of it, which I knew a little bit of, but I just needed a few more technical, sort of like how to patch stuff in, and little things like that, and that the rest was everything else was kind of already there. So it was just sort of filling in a couple of the blanks, I guess, for me, and then.
Well, Jeff is an amazing producer. I haven't worked with Jeff. This is my first time working with him, but everything that he's done with, just even like basic tracks that you're hearing now, I could just tell he obviously knows, and he hears things that I don't, and he's a pro. I could tell, and I like working with pros, obviously.
Thank you.
My other question was, first of all, how long have you been doing this, producing, and secondly, for artists and other producers, what advice, what sort of lessons that you learned, and what would you advise? Because obviously I'm sure listeners would love to hear, coming from an award-winning producer.
First part, I've been doing it full-time for probably 17 years, I guess now. But like I said before that, I was in bands. So, pretty much since, we're coming on, 17, 37. Coming on 30 years, really, if you think about it. That many? Maybe not that, but pretty close to that, yeah. So, but yes, about half of that has been, just full time. It's been my job.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't call it a job, but it's my.
Yeah, right.
My
We don't
living.
call it a. Sometimes it is a job, but
Job.
but this is what we do.
Yeah. Advice to artists or producers, or both, or one of
Both.
each. Jeez,
Like it could be a wisdom thing, it could be like a literal thing. I don't mean.
Yeah, I mean,
What have you learned the most, type of thing? You know, where your journey has taught you, where you think.
I've always felt that it's very important for the artist and the producer, you know, even if they come from different sort of backgrounds, and you hear so many records sometimes, you know, I know of certain stories where it's like, oh, my dream producer would be this guy because he did this record, and then they go and they do it, and they hate it, and it's not what they think it's going to be, and that kind of stuff, right? You know, but at the same time, have heard some story. There's more stories that I hear of that happening than I do of it being this miraculous success, because they're in awe of this one record.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, you know, I love this is my favorite record in the entire world, so it must be that producer that made it like that, which isn't the case necessarily.
Right.
So I think out of that, I think, you know, with artists, you know, talk to a bunch of different people, you know, including your favorite guy, if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and I think what I'm trying to get at is the most important thing the most important thing in the relationship between an artist and the producer, to me anyway. You know, I'm sure lots of people have different opinions, but my personal thing, what I've learned and what sort of helped me along is I believe that there needs to be a real trust between the artist and the producer, and both people's vision, because that's how you get great performances. If the artist is trusting you, then, you know, they trust you to let their guard down,
Right.
in their art and their performance, and that to me is the most important thing.
Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's another thing I learned too with Jeff is, you know, I've written, you know, stuff usually on my own, and so it's just such a pleasure to work with another songwriter, and not just to let go of my own tendencies.
Yeah.
And, you know, completely be detached to my own personal favorite
Thing.
you know, your tendencies and stuff. So that was really good, taking direction and just sort of, okay, here, you know, it's a collaboration, obviously. And I definitely agree. I think trust is important. I also think not picking your favorite person, and I'm blanking out here, but where's my coffee? No, I'm kidding. Personalities. Do you think we
Yeah. It's funny because I've
was
done.
it easy working with me, Jeff?
Yeah, but that's it is, but that's not, at the end of the day, that's not what it's about either. You know, it's about trusting each other. And I've worked with artists where, you know, we're like this, but that doesn't mean that the trust isn't there. And I've worked with artists where butting head, we've made more than one record together.
Right.
So it's not about, you know, and I don't like it when the artist, you know, some people, you know, it's your record and you know, and it's not just about rolling over and letting, you know, just being completely docile to the situation, because that's happened, and then ultimately the artist isn't happy with it. I think there should be a certain amount of back and forth, and if something doesn't make you happy, you know, doesn't make them happy, then I want to be pushed as much as the artist does.
Right. So with our experience of the, where do you see this project going? Do you think?
Well,
I mean, I know it's not done yet.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, there's nothing more than I hate is when, you know, there's sometimes when, you know, even sometimes on the songwriting stage, and people are like, oh, this is a hit. And it's like, no, it's not yet. It could be, you know, you know, and one of the reasons I don't like to jinx it. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can't, first of all, you don't know, and second of all, yeah, it's like, you know, it's a thing to me that by saying that, you jinx it. Or you can jinx it. And I'm not overly superstitious, but I just, you know, it's like, there's so many different things that are, you know, what that can mean, right? So, and I just don't think people are fair to themselves when they say that. So, or the song, really, because, you know, and it's like, you know, right now we're not even done, and it's like, we don't know.
I just hear so much, you know, I don't know your idea of your full production of the songs, but I hear
where they're
just
going.
the littlest things, and you get it, and, you know, just the littlest things, and I hear it, and I'm really, really, really excited. Just so happy to be in a studio, you know, because like you said, the bedroom studio.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's so common now, and
yeah, but I mean, that Bad Day was recorded in that bedroom, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
Even the vocals.
Yeah, the whole thing. So,
Damn.
you know, you can't. Yeah, like you can hear like in between all the like, you know, it was just I was in a back alley, and you know you'd hear cars going by. You know, the only time that we had to, you know, something that was if a garbage truck went by or something big or whatever. But yeah, everything was done there. So.
Yeah, and I guess my sort of.
But don't get me wrong, it is better to be here.
Oh, absolutely. It's just.
But you know, you need that start at some point, right?
Yeah.
So.
I think my final curiosity is what's your future. You know, what do you see in the future? What do you want to achieve? Have you reached your goal yet, or do you know you want to do more? You want to.
I want to do more. It'd be nice to have another big song like that for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, definitely.
And have,
maybe even a couple, I would say.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the last couple of years, it's been a goal of mine to like everything that I work on, I write or co-write, and that's that is where I'm at now. So that's great.
Yeah. Do you do stuff? Do stuff with Network?
Yeah, they're published with Network, so
right.
They're my publisher. So I don't, you know, do anything that's on the label side or the management side, but they, you know, I do deal with them as a publisher. So, you know, they get the film and TV sort of placement and stuff.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So is this your final? Not your final, but this is. You're definitely down this path for good. Like you're not.
I sure as hell hope so. I don't know what else I'd do.
Yeah.
It's been too long. Yeah, I can't imagine going back and working in kitchens.
Oh, or doing something else.
Yeah. I don't
We're
know.
doomed, Jeff. We're doomed.
Yeah, if suddenly tomorrow's like, okay, this doesn't happen anymore, what are you going to do? I'd have to go to school. It'd be a whole new life journey, which isn't necessarily bad, but I hope.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope
really
it
don't.
continues.
I definitely think you have a lot more hits.
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas in my brain, so.
Yeah,
hopefully.
you guys will see. I mean, the final product, I could just tell. I mean,
Good.
just the littlest things. I'm like, wow, that's really good. Because I wouldn't do them. You know, my normal ear, my, you know, what I've been doing with EDM and R&B, you know, so this is a nice refreshing genre, and it's really exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Jeff? Anything you want to tell us?
No, I don't think so. I talked more than you probably thought I would.
No.
Oh, damn it.
That's good. No.
Good.
You know, I got you.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody. There's something